My name is Chris Teale. I am the managing editor of Route 50. For those of you not familiar, we're part of the GovExec Media Group. We cover state and local government technology. We're here for a session called Leading Digital Transformation with Intention, which sounds like a lot, but I promise it's going to be really fun. Because I think one of the things I've learned is it's not just about tools, right? You've got to make smart decisions. You've got to empower your teams to, do the work, solve the right problems at the right time. To help us with that, we've got two absolute pros on stage with me from two really interesting states. To my immediate left is Denise Reilly-Hughes. She is the Chief Information Officer for the state of Vermont. And next to Denise is Shawnzia Thomas, CIO for the state of Georgia. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
The countdown tells me we've got 14 minutes to solve this. Completely solve it. But don't worry, because these two are going to do just that. And Shawnzia, no pressure, but I want to start with you first with this first question.
Okay, let's go.
Obviously, we need great people as well as great technology. How do you kind of create this culture where teams feel like they can try new things, use their initiative, speak up, kind of get involved with doing the good work that we want them to do?
Well, you got to start out by making them comfortable. You've got to build a culture of shared responsibility, accountability, collaboration, and leading with trust. I took my team through a Leading with Trust 4-week session a while back because I wanted to understand what I needed to do to be a better CIO, to make them do their jobs better. On the last session, we had a offsite, which was very, very interesting. We got to know each other a lot better. But in that last session, I really wanted them to tell me to be very candid. Nothing's going to happen. Say what you want to say with respect. But tell me what I can do differently, what I can do better. And they were very candid. They were very candid about some things. So we took that back, and they really came to my office the next week saying, hey, that was very good of you. You were vulnerable. We got to know you. And now, they trust me. So leading with trust, making sure they can really, really trust you. And that's what's happening here. Also, leading from behind. I know that sounds crazy, leading from behind, but I do that because I work for my team. My team doesn't work for me. I work for my team. So when you work for your team trusts you, they get innovative, they get confident, and innovation goes through the roof. So it's about leading with trust for me.
Absolutely. Follow that, Denise.
So I'm going to come work with you.
Okay, come on.
Ditto.
Yeah.
It's important to note that state CIOs do work really closely together. We look to repeat each other's successes and avoid, some of those lessons learned if we can. But we have taken that same approach, starting with trust, but making sure the leadership team is actually prepared to better support the users and their staff and the folks that are actually doing the hard work. I've put together a one agency approach, so nobody gets to work siloed, really being able to redefine what a team is, but also making sure that there's recognition and reward. I think that all too often when you're in public service, you forget to celebrate the good, right? And sometimes we wait for the really big good to celebrate. You want to make sure that you take a moment to celebrate even the small wins, because that's what allows you to have that fail fast type of mentality, is that we fail, we learn from it, and then we succeed, and let's celebrate that first step in success so that folks feel encouraged to keep going and possibly make another mistake. And that really leads to ownership. And when we can have folks owning what it is that they do, they feel a lot better about doing it, but they're not afraid to take a chance. And those are the chances that we need to take through this whole transformation that we're all going through right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, kind of following on from that, lots of people have lots of good ideas, I'm sure, throughout your government and throughout this room. I'm sure there are a lot of people sitting there thinking of all the fun things that they want to do when they get home, work-related and otherwise, obviously. But maybe they don't feel like their leadership really understands it, or they maybe aren't, I don't want to say are not listening, but I mean, as CIOs, how do we get your attention if I'm just an employee? Like, what is it that you're looking for from some of these projects or initiatives or efforts? And Denise, you can lead off on this one.
Thank you. So when we talked about this question before, this is like, it's almost a self-awareness opportunity, like, ooh, geesh, is there something formal that I do or not? And what I would say is I have an open door policy. So I've already let folks know that if you have an opportunity and would like to take it, my door is open. I don't say no. The second piece would be I've set 4 strategic priorities so that each one of those, I've got an idea. If they can align it to those, all of them, or just a few of them, then that will get my attention because it will let my team, my one agency, let me know that they're hearing it and they're executing on it. And so that's user experience, standards, simplifying, basically reducing complexities, and predictability. And if we can achieve that in the work that we're doing, then we've paved the path for that growth in the future.
Absolutely. And Shawnzia?
What gets my attention is the impact. What is it going to do for our citizens? Georgia is so citizen-centric. We're citizen-obsessed is what I call it. So what is it going to do for our citizens, the impact of what you're trying to do? So does it align with our strategic plans, as Denise mentioned? Does it align with the governor's goals? So if you've got something that's going to move Georgia forward, that's going to impact the citizens in a very positive way, then you got my attention.
All right. And then that way we have Georgia on our mind. Is
You
there a
do
joke
all
to
the
be made
time.
there, or I don't know?
Where's the song? Play the song. It's on my mind. Yeah.
I guess related to that as well, it's almost, I like the flow of these questions. Presumably neither of your states have millions of dollars stuffed down the couch cushions ready to just throw around at every little project. No?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
Okay. I was going to say, because I mean, you could
don't.
send me some of that. But within that as well, I'm sure you've got 100 different things that you could be doing. All these initiatives and plans and projects and things that you probably would work on. How do you prioritize that? And Shawnzia, how do you prioritize stuff like that in Georgia?
Well, first it's the governor's initiatives, making sure that we get those done first. They've got to be aligned with the entire Georgia strategic plan. But then I've got to look at the bandwidth of my team, making sure we've got the right resources, the right tool sets, and just making sure that we can get things done. To whom much is given, much is required. My team has done a very good job at what they do, so we're asked to do a lot of things most of the time. So I've got to make sure we've got the bandwidth to do the things because we're not going to fail on these things. We're going to do them right. So just making sure that, but just prioritizing, the governor's strategic plan, what the legislative folks have set forth for our state, and just looking at the impact and the bandwidth of my team.
Absolutely. Denise?
We were talking about something very similar last night, and we have a challenge when it comes to uncovering the necessary pieces up front before it gets to the folks that are going to start the execution. And Shawnzia was telling me, well, we actually have the business come forward first, and they have to talk about what their intended outcomes are, what their real requirements are, not their technical requirements, their agency requirements or the service requirements. Who are they touching? Who's the broader user community? What experience are they trying to land with? And having that partnership is so critically important. And so where we have state peers already succeeding in that space, we want to get a chance to actually repeat on that success too. So this is one area that we frequently will do is, this aligns.
Yes.
So We're going to see if we can take some of the goodness that Georgia is doing in that space and bridge that connection between what the business is saying that they want and what technology can solution to, because the whole challenge that we have here is that we want technology to lead, but the reality is that the outcomes need to be the one leading. That's the destination. That's what we're all trying to get to. And technology just gets to be that fuel that helps that vehicle of progress get to that destination.
Well, I want to throw you a slight curveball because I'm sitting here and I want you to kind of brag a little bit for me, if you would. What's one initiative in your state, driven by technology or a tech initiative on its own, that you're proud of, that you would highlight, that you would say, look, this is why we get up in the morning to do this? What's happening in Vermont? What are you proud of?
I can just pick one.
I mean, ideally, but, we
We are in the very final stages of phase 2 of our DMV modernization project. And being able to look at that is touching over 60% of Vermonters in some capacity. And what we've all learned along the way is we've stopped talking about the tech and we've started talking about the person. And looking at this through the lens of the users that have to engage with the department, and are they only engaging with one department, or are they actually outreaching to more? So we identify that there are children in foster care who receive non-driver IDs as a means to have a regular form of identification that they can carry through with them. DMV surfaces that for them. And to be able to take those adjacencies and those connections and see that we're not only users of that system too, because we're Vermonters, but we are now reaching and outreaching beyond the walls of that one Department of Motor Vehicles to impact Vermonters positively. It's been really exciting. And so this last phase launches in November. And kudos to the commissioner, because what they also did was decided that we're going to shut down DMV locations over a holiday weekend. So they shut down for 2 working days, one on the front end of the week and one on the back end. And that made all the difference because it gave back to her employees to be able to say, we need the time to train, and it can't just be in these 1-2 hour blocks. So it's just a project that we want to see that model repeat over and over again because it took care and consideration all the way around.
There's your bar. Top
Sorry
it.
for talking too much.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. The one that we are super, super excited about, and Nikhil Deshpande, my wonderful AI officer, talked about it yesterday, is our Horizons Innovation Lab. We are so excited about that space. It's a proving ground space where we have procured 19 partners in the AI space to help all of our state and local, county, K through 12, whomever in Georgia, to come in with use cases where we can get some real quick wins in Georgia in this space. We're super excited about this space. Our governor is going to cut the ribbon on our Horizons Innovation Lab next month. He's already shouting from the rooftops where he goes, and we're doing the same thing. So if you're ever in Georgia, come see us. We'll give you a tour of this wonderful space, and we're super excited about that.
Excellent. Well, we have 90 seconds, unfortunately, so I have time for one more question, which is, look out onto the horizon, and what is one thing in the kind of civic tech community that we're all in that we aren't thinking about enough, but we really should be? And Shawnzia, why don't you start with that?
I'm going to go on the AI track again. Everybody's been talking about this shiny, shiny, and new component that we just got to have today, not tomorrow, but today. But there's layers to this. There's an order of that, and the order should be just as a great friend of mine talked about. Eating, you start with your appetizer. You go to your soup, you go to your salad, you go to your main course, and then your dessert. The dessert is the AI component, and they want to skip all over those delicious things to get straight to that dessert. And we can't do that. There's the awareness of it. There's the training of it. The biggest piece, which is your protein, the main course, is the data. No one's talking about the data. No one's trying to help agencies, CIOs, to get their data in some kind of shape. So those are the things they're not talking about in Georgia. We are talking about that, about getting our data in some kind of shape before we go to that dessert. Yes, it's going to be great and wonderful, taste great, and my favorite is cheesecake. That's what that is. So we're going to get to that cheesecake, but we've got to get to these other layers first, and that's what we're doing in our innovation lab, so we're not talking about data enough.
I'll resist the urge to talk about my favorite dessert as well, but Denise, you get the final word on this.
I'm just going to tap right onto that, right? Where get uncomfortable. Pick the main course or the method to the main course that you never, ever would have chosen before. Pick the thing on the menu that you can't have anywhere else and try something different, because if we are doing this comfortably, then we're not doing it right. We've got to get out of our comfort zone and start trying new things, including cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
I don't know, guys. I think we solved it all. What do you think? Thank you all so much. There's more to come, but for now, we appreciate it. Thank you.